Hello! Today we are going through a new world record on Deep Dip 1, although perhaps not the full tower map, as some of you might be expecting or hoping for. This is on Deep Dip 1 checkpoint per floor, and I'd been hunting this for a while lately. A few weeks ago is when I set this time, and I was planning to beat it again, but I don't know if I have the motivation for it. So we're gonna post this as it is, and I'm pretty sure. Well, I don't think it's gonna be beaten anytime soon. My previous world record had been beaten, and I'm not sure this one will be either. So, you may be wondering, what's so special about Deep Dip checkpoint per floor? Well, it's not perhaps what you will expect. It's, in fact, harder to get a good run on than Deep Dip without checkpoints, including the reactor cut, of course, and you'll see why shortly. Previously on this map, the world record was first cut, I should say, by Yorid12, who did the reactor flight once and then twice later on in the run, and then I beat that later the same day, I believe, or a day later, I'm not too sure, after an hour of attempts. Obviously with a lot more reactor cut experience, so it made life very easy for me. And since then I've hunted it down a little bit, because originally Yorid's time was I believe a 20-minute run, and then I brought that down to a 14.5-minute run, and gradually that crept down to what was my previous video, which was I believe a 10-minute run or so, and then I had also subsequently got a sub 10-minute run, which I didn't post about because I was gonna make a long form video about it, and then I didn't really get around to it because I didn't know if it was gonna be that interesting, to be honest. And then I beat that world record. I'm not gonna tell you what that time was, but I beat it again shortly afterwards. So this is where the record now lies, with this run here. And yeah, so far it's pretty fast. It gets up to floor 2 in about, I don't know how long this has been, just under 2.5 minutes, which I believe is about as fast as it was on my previous Deep Dip 1 world record. Probably a little bit slower than Virtual does it, but I'm not too sure on the actual time. Well, it's a lot slower actually because he uses the shortcuts. What am I saying? But yeah, we just get into the I suppose the scary part of the run, because you spent 2.5 minutes climbing up the tower. Then you've got to get and figure out. Well, you gotta make sure you land at the top. To beat my previous world record, I had to get it within the first 2 attempts, realistically. Otherwise I'd be wasting about a minute every attempt, which is not what you really want to do, especially when there isn't that much wiggle room left. So we're just gonna go and line up just in the same place as usual. I had to relearn how to do this because I hadn't played the map in about 6 months before I started this, so this is a little bit slow, but that doesn't matter too much. We get a good bounce, get a good couple of brake taps, and we want to realistically land on the roof. We're a bit far to the right, but it's all good. We land on the roof, which allows us to jump straight down. Mind you, this is a bit of a slow route around, which, you know, it's fine. It's not the fastest, but it does the job. I was also, during these attempts, trying to land at the start of floor 14, which is where the record is, or where the checkpoint is, I should say. So you don't waste any time falling down, but it's fine. We landed it, and we eventually got to the start of floor 14, wherein we can jump down to floor 13. There's a little bit of a mishap there. This isn't a clean run, as you can see. I didn't get this in 0 respawns. That would be lovely, but it's so hard to do, and mate, I don't wanna. We get back down to the start of floor 13. I found a slightly different route towards the start of floor 12. I don't know if I pull it off first try, but instead of going right here, we go to the left. We try and jump on this pipe here. We failed it first time. Previously, we jumped down onto the big yellow ball, and then try and jump away across to floor 11, but it takes a bit of a setup, and it's a bit annoying to do. Sometimes you just don't have enough speed. So I changed it to jump onto this pipe, which is more precise, no doubt, as I fail it for the second time. I think I wasted about a minute up until this point compared to my previous PB. So I was like, at this point, I'm just going to keep going, see how it goes. And yeah, you never know. Because while lots of these mistakes do add up, as you can see, it's a nice easy jump doing it from the end of the pipe. And I go straight here, which I did on my previous run. But yeah, the difficulty is that after you do all this drop down, all the way back to floor 2, you have to then get the reactor flight, and that's the hard part. So just getting runs down to there, trying to get a back-to-back reactor is the important thing. Oh god, that's terrible. I found out the line here as well, because I used to jump after the second tree on the left there to land later on the ice and drop down onto the booster, but here we can just jump straight down onto the dirt, which makes it nice and easy. Go around the outside of there to get a really nice line down to the start of floor 10, where we just missed a checkpoint. Here we go, we get it this time, no doubt. Double respawn. The problem with floor 11 is that if you can't double respawn it. I also found another line here, which I don't know how I didn't see before. You can just jump straight to the checkpoint. I was jumping out to the left before. I might put that in the edit, perhaps. Yeah, so quite a lot of these optimizations were to make my life easier, and also the route was a bit faster. There's another change coming here on floor 8, where we jump onto the boosters instead and jump to the start of floor 7, just after the pipe. But then you can jump onto the pipe, and you're there immediately. Very easy, very fast. Nice to do. And floor 6, or the transition from floor 6 to floor 5, was the hardest checkpoint because it's a really narrow jump. Whereas now, I found another route where you don't have to double respawn, and you can just land like that. Very easy to do, in fact. And we get the checkpoint. Got one more checkpoint to get, 2 more checkpoints to get actually. We used to land on the top of this first black platform, but now we land on the second one, although I got a bad landing. So it's like, this can be beaten, but do you want to? Do you really want to try world record where you have to do the reactor cut twice in a row? We got a good flip here, and well, I take it back, that was a terrible flip, my god. So you can probably guess what's gonna come next. We eventually land it down at the start of floor 3, get the final checkpoint. Now we've only got one more thing to do. We've got to get back to the start, jump back down, land on the orange, save it. And we're probably, I think, 30 seconds behind our PB here. So to push it, we've got to get it first time to beat the world record. But I think we had a bit more time in hand, to be honest. But our previous world record didn't actually nail this for a few attempts, so it was all good. But of course, we fly. We get a very good flight. We're a little bit to the left of the tower compared to before. We landed on the right side before. This time we landed on the left side. But we do land it. Get the unturtle. And now we just got to make sure we finish it. If we don't finish it this time, this isn't a world record. We've got a hard route. It's a route that I failed on one of my world record runs on the actual tower. But I knew where to adjust for. I had to go really high up, just missing the plastic block on the left. Well, above us, in fact. And into the finish line. Giving us a time of 8 minutes and 58 seconds, which is the first and probably only ever sub 9 minute run, which is very fast. I believe the coping time for this was a 7 minute 28, so I lost about 1.5 minutes, well, almost exactly 1.5 minutes in fact, from all the respawns that I did in that run. But I didn't lose any of the big time losses. I didn't run into any trouble with the big potential time losses of the first and second reactor flights, which always are the deciding factor for this run. So, yeah, just a little video. I thought you might enjoy a new world record, and yeah, that's gonna be it. So, thank you for watching, and see you next time.